Good evening, I'm Lina Ahmudu. This is Africa 54. Vincent Mercury is off today. Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari is in the midst of a 4-day visit to Washington. It's his first visit to the U.S. Capitol since taking office in May in a rare peaceful transition of power in Nigeria. On Monday, Mr. Buhari met with President Barack Obama, other senior U.S. officials, West African diplomats, World Bank executives, and members of the U.S. Congress. Tuesday, he is scheduled to hold a town hall meeting with members of the Nigerian Diaspora. But first, he sat down with VOA's Clottey to talk about his trip to the U.S.
Mr. President, thanks for speaking with the Voice of America News.
Thank you.
How did your meeting go with President Obama, and were your expectations met?
Well, I'm grateful that President Obama invited me, and since we met at G7 in Germany last month, where he extended the invitation, I came, and he clearly knows the problems in Nigeria about insecurity in the country, the problem of the economy, unemployment, and the corruption in the country. And he made the undertaking that as soon as we can produce the necessary documents that will give the legal backing to the recovery, once it's traced to the United States government will cooperate. I don't think I can get a better assurance than that.
Mr. President, when you came into office, you said the coffers of the Nigerian kitty was empty. How do you intend to recoup monies siphoned out of the country? Because reports say about $150 billion have been siphoned out of the country within the last 10 years.
Well, it's not busy. We have to trace it and get the documents. Both for shipping of the illegal crude, its destinations, which accounts the payments were credited, and then identify the people responsible, both in the system, in Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, and those that ordered it. That means the technocrats and the politicians that are responsible for this diversion. And of course the outright theft of public funds, either through inflating contracts or doubling it. So the most important thing for us is to try and get those documents so that final prosecution will be possible. Because we don't want this serious recovery of stolen money to be reduced to token assignment. We have to get the documents, we have to identify the persons, and we then start the process of prosecution.
Well, you promised during your campaign that you're going to stamp out corruption. People say that corruption is endemic in the structures of the government. How do you plan to weed that out?
Well, it's a very well-known case that there is no Ministry of Aristotle in Nigeria that you will go without financial and administrative instructions. Those who are conveniently ignored. So for people who refuse to be accountable, they will be held responsible.
Morale of your military folks were a little down before you took power. You changed strategy, moving some folks to the north to fight the insurgency. How sure are you that your plan will succeed, especially when Boko Haram has stepped at attacks with suicide bombings now?
We have changed the commanders. New set of troops have been trained. And the joint multinational joint task force, comprising of troops from Chad, Niger, Nigeria, Benin Republic, would be deployed in the theater of operation. So really, this is the practical and the realistic way the problem can be faced.
So, Mr. President, how confident should Nigerians be with the change that you promised that you will deliver? especially when you are yet to name your cabinet. You've asked them for patience, but they're saying we want change now. You know your people more than I do.
Well, if you follow up developments, the 8 governments of the former ruling party, the PDP, 8 governments, find out none of them formed its government within 2 months of its swearing in. So why so much pressure has been brought on APC to act with immediate effect, especially when there are so many things wrong?
So talking about the APC, we recently read about the rancor in the Senate and the House of Reps fighting among themselves, and people are saying, well, why are they giving the president a hard time? So they asked that you step in to try to resolve some of these impasses. Why not act, Mr. President? They asked.
Well, you have to look very hard at the constitutional position. The National Assembly, the upper and the lower houses, they have got their own system of choosing their leaders. And among the system is what they call rating among their colleagues. If you check, there was a heavy attrition of the members of the National Assembly. More than 70% of them didn't come back to the National Assembly. So the remaining 30% are those that have experience of running the National Assembly, both upper and lower houses. It's up to them, to choose their leaders. But certainly the party has a role. The party will firstly make sure that the accepted system of choosing leaders or getting rid of them is in line with the rules and regulation of the National Assembly itself.
Mr. President, last but not the least, I will quote you. You said Nigeria must first put new rules of conduct and governance in place. How do you intend to implement that?
What we intend to do is to insist that whatever institutions do is constitutional. And what is not constitutional must be properly explained. For example, this lifting of illegal lifting of crude, you can see the documents were forged, and it's done sometimes, a lot of the times, with the cooperation of members of NNPC. Certainly they can't say they are loading Nigerian crude into an unknown, unregistered ships. So there is a lot of disrespect for the laws of the country that had been taking place for more than 10 years. And that shouldn't frustrate us and stop us from operating. We just draw a line, we continue, but wherever we uncover that public funds have been siphoned or crude has been stolen, we trace it through the movement of the ships, through the accounts the payments went through, and this cannot be done overnight.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.